Hello, and welcome to part 3 of How to Train Your Tuba. My name is Clement with Patrick and Friends Music Company, and we are going to talk about probably one of the most important things. I'm sure I've said that 1,000 times, but one of the most important things with the aspect of playing the tuba. It's listening. So I've talked a lot conceptually in my past 2 videos about, the things we need to bring to have good characteristic sounds and good practice methods on what you need to do on the tuba. Well, now we really need to talk about the art form. How do we get there? What's our approach when making music? Do we just play? Do we sit around and make some stuff up? Yeah, sure, sometimes. Music has existed for so long at this point that we have so much to be able to take from that we can continue to work on. So how do we build upon that? Well, we look at past brass pedagogues and see what they talk about. How do we build? How do we expand upon what they've said? Well, one of the masters himself was Arnold Jacobs. He was a tuba player for the Chicago Symphony and an absolute master at brass playing. Yes, he was just a tuba player, or if you say just a tuba player, he was a master of his craft. But all brass players listen to him when it comes to concepts of making music. And why is that? Well, what is the point? If he's just a tuba player, what is a trumpet player or a trombone player going to get out of this? A lot. Like I've talked about in my past videos, it's the key concepts of brass playing are all there the same. It's just the intricacies that we do after. So the best part about that is there are specific method books and method training for your instrument. The internet has a vast majority of music that you can look at, again, from all points in time. But to specifically master the tuba, we have a few key books that we look at. So one, for example, is the Bordoni. Now, this wasn't originally written for tuba. These are vocalises, so they were originally used to sing. Right? We, as tuba players, need to understand some of these flowy etudes. So I'll play and demonstrate one for you to get a good idea at really what you're looking at in a book like this. So as you can hear, it's a lot of flowing lines. There's a lot more to that etude and a ton of other etudes in this book, but really we're looking for the characteristic of being a vocalist, of being an opera singer, having that big sound when we're trying to play. Like any art form, if you're talking about movies, if you're talking about actual art, we take and pick and choose, things we like and things we don't like to bring to our own characteristic sound. My favorite thing is to strictly listen to vocalists. There are so many things that vocalists do that you would think nearly impossible to do on your instrument, at any given instrument, but it's just a tool to learn how to do it on your instrument. So things like vibrato, stylistic, approach to lines and making it sing-songy, right? You want to make everything sound as good as possible. So this book by Arnold Jacobs, but really compiled by Bruce Nelson, is filled, like me, with a bunch of talking in the beginning. It's telling you these concepts, these ideas of what it means to make music, not just on the tuba, but on any instrument that you're trying to learn. And then it ends with a lot of great etudes, a lot of technical studies that we've already kind of been through in the past videos. Again, it's all finding that niche and just practicing. So what are we going to practice and how are we going to practice that? There are tons and tons of tools and tons of etude books, like I've said, that'll take you very, very far. Again, you've got a Bordoni, great for tuba players. You've got a Blažević, wonderful for tuba players. You've got a Tyrell, wonderful for tuba players. Now, then you can kind of break the branches and you play something like Brandt, which is just for trumpet players. But, if someone was so nice to make it for tuba, give us the challenge of our lifetime, and it's just only going to build. Again, I'm not the only person who's looking at other instruments and wants to do what they do. We're always thinking about this. You have to remember the constant art form of what it is to make music, right? We borrow, we steal some ideas, and then we try to make them our own. So, another great book that'll get all of you on your way to mastering the tuba. And as you can tell, I'm missing a cover because I've had this book for as long as I've been playing the tuba. The Advanced Method by Rubank will expand upon a lot of the ideas that I've talked about in these few videos. So you really want to take the time, and you don't have to go crazy. You don't need to be putting in hours of practice a day. Just a good hour, a little bit less, half hour, getting used to it, getting in tune, no pun intended, with your instrument, and then working your way up, right? We gotta walk before we can run. With everything I talked about, I like to show you what it means to put it all together, especially in the practice aspect. I'm gonna play a bit of an excerpt from that Arnold Jacobs book. I'm gonna play it slower, but I'm gonna pay attention to a lot of what's going on. Dynamic contrast, articulations. Again, making sure those key concepts of time, pitch, and rhythm are in my head at all times while I'm playing this. So again, with all the concepts that we've talked about in these past few videos, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking and I'm actively using my brain and paying attention to what the composer wants me to play, and at this point what Arnold Jacobs really wants me to learn from this etude. So with all the information I've given you guys, just take that, be patient, right? Rome wasn't built in a day. Take your time, really get to learn your instrument, and make sure you know which key your instrument is in, and it's going to be smooth sailing from then on out. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to comment below, and I will search for you guys and get back to you as soon as I can. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out our Patreon page. Thank you.